Video, I just wanted to show some of the new features of amPIL, such as how you can use it to generate centre assessed grades. So it's dead easy once everything's set up, and I just wanted to run you through some of the features. So the first thing that you'd need to do is select your subject as usual, and if you open up the menu, you'll see centre assessed grades as an option down the side. Now select your year group, and the first thing that you will see is this menu here. Now I've already done some of this, so I'm going to go ahead and start a new ranking. So I'll type in my password, the administrator password, and it's going to take me into the next level. So these are all the assessments that you can see down the side that we've got results for this year group. I'm going to use all of them at the minute, but you can select all of these. You can select whichever ones you want to base the ranking on. What it's going to do is generate a score for each student, and it does this in quite a complicated way. It standardizes all the assessment scores and also takes into account how difficult the assessments are. We can tweak this using the adjustment here, and essentially what that does is it changes how many standard deviations from the mean the judgments are going to be made from. I'd recommend just leaving it at the default position, and then you can click submit. And once you've done that, what you'll notice is it ranks all your students with a score here in the fourth column from top to bottom. So the first job for a department administrator is to see whether these look correct. We can move some of the students around. You simply drag and drop them. So if I wanted to move some of the students around, I would do so like this. Now, what this is going to do is build up a profile of how many students from each set you would get in what order. So currently I'm going to get the first 4 students in my ranking are going to come from 11Y1. I'm going to get 2 from 11X1, and then 3, 4 from 11Y1. So that profile is gonna stay. Once the teachers have submitted their own rankings, their positions within those sets will then change. Teacher ranking done. You'll see that there's a tick next to this section here to say that the initial rankings have been completed. Now the next stage is to provide passwords to each of your teaching staff relative to whichever group they've got. So if I go ahead and type in the administrator password again, it's going to generate some passwords, one for each group, and these are the passwords that you will give to each member of staff to log on as their class. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in the password for this set 11X1 and show you how you can do a ranking. And once all of those have been completed, it moves on to the next stage. So here, where you see the class teacher password, the class teacher will type in this password and it will bring up their class list. Now, currently, the students are in order by name. So alphabetical order from top to bottom, so no judgments have been made there. We've got all of the assessment results along the side, so we can see which students are performing at which level. So again, a drag and drop is all that's needed from the members of staff to place these in a rank order. By default, those scores are hidden. So the scores that are used to generate the overall ranking have been hidden, but you can display these if you want your teachers to make these judgments. So I can see this particular student has done very well, so I can move this student up towards the top of the ranking, and that's corroborated by this student's test scores as well. So once this is done, once we've got all the students in some form of an order that we're happy with, we'd go ahead and we would submit this. You can also save it to a draft if you don't want to mark it as complete at the minute. You can save that as a draft, but once you're happy with that, you mark the ranking as done. Stage where the ranking is complete. Each class teacher has now ranked their classes, so we know from top to bottom who we think is the top of the group, who we think is at the lower end of the group. So we've got a tick there. If this is partially completed, you'll be able to see at this stage which classes have submitted their rankings. So it's now time to allocate the grades over the top, so the provisional grades can be generated. So we do this by typing in the administrator password. So this is for a department leader, and you get an option to create your grade profile. So the first thing to do is select the grades in order from the highest grade to the lowest. So if I wanted 9% of the grades to be at grade 9, I would add that. 17% at grade 8, and go through all of the grades like this. So now there's no remaining allocation of grades. We've got our grade profile, and on the coloured wheel at the side you can see how these grades are broken down. Click done and it'll overlay the grades over the students. You can't drag and drop these students as you could before, but what you'll notice is that at the grade boundaries we can now change them. So we can just adjust where we wanted the grade boundaries to be between each of the grades. So if you think this student deserves a grade 9, for example, click the plus button and it will allocate them in a grade 9. Looking down at all of the others, again we can tweak the grade boundaries. These are color coded from green to red as the grades get lower. And once we've done that, scroll back up to the top and you can submit the grades that way. You can also show again the results from the assessments that these students have sat. So now's the time for the class teacher to check these grades. We can see now that no classes have done this yet. So again, it's back to the class teachers so that they can check the grades that you have allocated to them. 11x1 teacher again. So once again, I'm going to type in the class teacher password, and the class teacher will see a screen that looks like this. So you can see the grades that have been allocated already. So I can see that most of these grades are between 9 and 7, or in fact all of the grades are between grade 9 and grade 7. You can show the information, you can show the standardized score, you can show the assessment data, so you've got all of that information to hand. If any of these don't quite look right, you can select the student and write a comment next to a particular student, and that will flag up for the department administrator at the final stage when they come to put all of these rankings together. So this is just a chance for the class teacher to check that the grades for the students that you've got look correct. Once you're happy, mark the rankings as complete, and you'll notice that 11x1 is now complete. On to the final stage of the process, and that's to generate the final rankings. So once again, the department administrator would log in using the department administrator password, and we get the information that's been generated. As you scroll down this list, you will see any of the students that the teachers have flagged up. So this student here in particular, I've flagged and I've written a comment next to that student for the department administrator to see. So we can have a look at that student in a little bit more detail, and the orange boxes at the side allow us to change any of the values that we've got. So we can do this. We can change all of the information that we can. We can change the score, change the ranking, the grade, which we said should be a grade 9. And I can save that and return, and the student in question we've flagged and we've changed their grade to a grade 9. Once this has all been checked, you can check through all of the data. There won't be any other flags on there at the minute because I've not added any. It's possible to export this. So clicking on that button there will export all of the data to a CSV file, which can be used in other software or upload into to any other platform. And once you've done that, the centre assessed grades have been complete.